Next up, at UFC Vegas 61, we have John Sexy Mexi Castaneda taking on Daniel Santos. John Castaneda is 19-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, coming off the submission win over Miles Johns in February. Daniel Santos is 9-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, coming off a loss in his UFC debut. And John Castaneda is a really fun come-forward fighter. He's very well-rounded and sets an incredible pace. He loves coming forward with fast hands and then just shooting takedowns when he has the opening. He does not have a ton of power, but he makes up for that with forward pressure and a wide variety of strikes. His last fight was interesting, though, because in his post-fight speech, I mentioned this a few times, but it is pretty cool. In his post-fight speech, he basically told Michael Bisping, hey, I watched the fights back. I listened to your commentary. You said I need to string together more combinations, so that's exactly what I did. And that's just a cool thing to see. Daniel Santos, he's coming off a loss in his UFC debut where his strikes were almost tripled. He's an old-school shoot-a-box style striker, and if you don't know what that is, that's the Vanderlei Silvas of the world, the Shogun Huas of the world. Tight guard comes in and just absolutely explodes in the pocket. Powerful strikes, really good jiu-jitsu, really heavy leg kicks. The problem with their jiu-jitsu is while it's very good, potentially could win a couple of tournaments, it's not practical for MMA. It just isn't. It's like if he's on his back, he's literally trying to work submissions and sweeps instead of trying to work his way back up to his feet. He'll take his time. He'll lose, he'll lose minutes playing a regular old school.
That threw you off a little bit. That was just for the live chat. You can't do anything. You can't. Any distraction at all, and you just lose it, man.
It didn't throw me off until you started.
Eventually,
talking.
in a few months, you're literally gonna be on your finger on the screen, following, reading your stuff.
There is a teleprompt feature, which I'm just not going to do. Anyway, while very good at jiu-jitsu, their style of jiu-jitsu is not really good for MMA. This could be a really fun fight. I love Sexy Mexi in this fight. I think his striking pressure, his takedowns, all of that is going to keep Daniel Santos on his heels the whole time. Daniel's always going to be live for a finish because he is dangerous. But I think just like that Julio Arce fight, I think he has trouble finding a rhythm. So Castaneda is the pick. I think he's safe for parlays, and I think it's a really good matchup for him. What do you think?
My dude, Sexy Mexi. First of all, lock of the week, Sexy Mexi against Miles Johns. That was one of those lock of the weeks where people are like, what are you talking about? Sexy Mexi. I knew he was going to be out. First of all, Miles Johns, wrestler that loves to strike, and I love pitting strikers against people like that, so that's why he was lock of the week in this matchup. I'm definitely going to side with Sexy Mexi in this matchup because he should be the better striker in what should be a mostly striking battle, but I will say it scares me a little bit because Santos is a guy that will just not stop pushing forward, right? He'll push the pace, work through shots, and will throw big combinations. And there's times where Sexy Mexi, Julio Arce kept the distance, right? He was chasing Arce around the entire time. He'd throw a combination, kind of dip out of there, circle back around, and Santos, again, just starts plotting him down, throw the combination and circle around, where Sexy Mexi, at times, will stay in the pocket and get in those fire fights. And he has shown that he has the chin to be able to do that. But you always have a chin until you don't have a chin. And Miles Johns in that matchup was able to land some pretty good shots on Sexy Mexi. And it was one of those shots, a few of those boom shots, and he just kind of smiles and shakes off like, no, that didn't hurt me. If Santos is able to land those same shots, eventually your chin is going to give out. So that does worry me a little bit if Sexy Mexi is going to rely on toughness and getting a firefight in this matchup. I do not want phone booth fighting at all for Sexy Mexi. Take that Arce fight, copy, paste it, dance around, do your thing. You're the better striker in this matchup. Maybe mix in a takedown or two if you get in a little bit of trouble. I don't mind that at all. You're a good wrestler in your own right. I think this is a Sexy Mexi play all the way, but I don't want him testing his chin, man. This is the wrong guy to test your chin against. I think Santos comes in and looks a little bit better than he did against Arce. Cuts those corners a little bit. I almost said a little bit for some reason, but the pick is Sexy Mexi.
Yeah, I hear you. Daniel Santos is obviously a dangerous guy, but Sexy Mexi's proven that he can just keep coming forward, stay tough, And even though Daniel Santos
I
has
don't want him
done
to
that
be
as
tough.
well, he's
I just
very
said
hittable.
I don't want him to be tough.
I hear
I don't
that.
want this to be a sexy Mexi. Oh, look how tough he is fight. I think he might lose if a tough fight. I want him to be like, oh wow. I want sexy Mexi in this fight. Sexy Mexi, if you're listening to this, Adrian Yanez. I want you to be Adrian Yanez. Keep yourself clean. Roll with shots. Get the fuck out of there. Counter shots. Sorry, we're not supposed to drop the F bar. When I talk about Adrian Yanez, when I talk about Adrian Yanez, I get a little bit fired up. That's how you got to fight, man.
$8,800 in DraftKings, I think he's worth it. I'm confident in Sexy Mexi. I think Daniel Santos is very good. I think I picked him in his UFC debut, and I was obviously wrong. And it was his UFC debut, and he was gun shy, and he's going to come out here looking as good as we all thought he was going into his last fight. But I think Sexy Mexi is a proven entity at this point. And I think their aggression eliminates, or whatever it is, cancel each other's out. And then what do you go to then? Oh my God, the technique. I think John Castaneda
a stroke happened live on screen.
I think John Castaneda has the better technique, and then you go to the grappling. John Castaneda has the better wrestling, and I already mentioned Daniel Santos. He's accomplished jiu-jitsu, but that shooter box jiu-jitsu does not work in MMA. So I got to go with Castaneda here. $8,800.
Charles Oliveira.
I think the $8,800 is worth it.
The champ has a name, and his name. I'll be honest with you. If Sexy Mexi didn't have the wrestling in his back pocket, I would be a little bit cautious on this fight. But I do like the fact that if he starts getting in a little bit of trouble, he can go to the wrestling. So I think it's I don't know if I love the $8,800, but multi lineups, I think he's definitely got to be in something.
Yeah, and I don't think this fight goes the distance. I do think there's potentially a stoppage here somewhere. They are both tough, man. They are both very, very tough, and it is a 2.5 line. So I'm not 100% sold on that, but I do think, I think they're going to go at it. Is my overall point is where I'm going. Where I think there could potentially be a stoppage, but I still think they'll get past the 61, get past the 50. So I'm pretty confident in that. So
I love that. I love the more and more on that.
All you need to do is go to wewantpicks.com/MKF. You sign up, they will instantly match your deposit. Take that free deposit match money and play the more on this strike line. You can triple it. You can 5 times, 10 times, even 20 times that money when you start stringing these together. wewantpicks.com/MKF. And if you want $50 for free, go to wewantpicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners, make a deposit, and I will send you $50 as a thank you.